Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday. I'm Brian, as I scratch my head, uh, of Mr. Smith's Kitchen. I am director, founder, producer, camera guy, all around everything for this show, program, network, YouTube channel. If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. If you're a subscriber or at least watch me, glad to have you back. So today we're going to talk about not a whole lot of anything and a little bit of everything. I don't really have a topic to talk about today. It's been such a busy last couple of weeks between work and home life. Oh, and happy Father's Day if you're a father. A belated Father's Day. It was this past Sunday. I actually had Father's Day off. In my industry, we get holidays, so to speak, but we don't necessarily take them when the holiday arises. Unfortunately, the restaurant industry isn't like the banking industry. Let me get rid of that glare for you because that's annoying. If it's annoying me, I imagine it's annoying you. But so instead of taking my Memorial Day holiday on Memorial Day, which is a Monday, and my job specifically, Mondays are very important that I be there. So that didn't happen, but I took it on Father's Day instead. And you ask, what did you do for Father's Day? Well, let's talk about what I did for Father's Day. I had an absolutely wonderful Father's Day. And what I wanted to do this year for Father's Day was celebrate Abby's birthday. Her birthday was actually Friday, 2 days before Father's Day and the first day of summer. And Fridays for me, another busy day in the restaurant world. I wasn't able to be home for her birthday, so we just decided to wait so we could all be together. And I wanted to do it Sunday for Father's Day instead of doing a big to-do about Father's Day. So that was my gift, was having Abby's birthday party and birthday, which was absolutely amazing. I have a picture of her cake. We did the coolest cake for her this year. We made it from scratch, as we have the past few years. And this year's theme was a castle with Disney princesses. And I baked all the cakes, and Chris did a fantastic job of decorating it. And if I can figure out how to do it right about here, I'll put a picture in of it. If I can't figure it out, there won't be a picture of it here. But there will be, I know for fact, for certain, if you go onto Facebook and find me on Facebook under Brian's Aquatics, you'll see a picture there. Anyhow, absolutely fabulous. Towers, 3-layer or 4-layer cake, absolutely gorgeous. I could show you the remnants of it, but it doesn't even look like a castle anymore. But we did that and had fun. I got to kind of lounge around the house. I did make breakfast for Abby. I made her favorite pancakes. And then for lunch, I whipped up some quick sloppy joes, and which I have a video for if you want to go back and check it out. They're like the best sloppy joes ever. And that's pretty much how I spent my day, And then, of course, yesterday I worked, and today I have to work this evening, And it's been an absolutely beautiful day outside. It is currently 71 degrees outside. There is no humidity. The sun is shining. There's a few clouds in the sky. It's almost like a Norman Rockwell painting or a movie moment. Got to go out and play in the gardens a little bit, do a little weeding, make sure everybody's got plenty of water, and cut the grass. And today I made goulash. The pot's sitting right back there, full of goulash, which I also have a video for if you want to check that out. It was wonderful. Oh, last thing I want to do before I move on to the next topic, or show you at any rate. Today, Abby missed her last few days of school. She wasn't feeling well, but her teacher, Miss Penny, bless her heart, lovely woman, who is currently at the park with Abby right now. They're out having a lunch and play at the park day. She won this award. It's the Most Growth Award, and it was given to Abby. She had shown the most growth, just as far as development and all aroundness of any other kid in her class, which was absolutely awesome. And she was very proud of that. And she also got these really cool mermaid and fairy that when you get them wet, they grow. I don't know how big they grow, but they grow. It'll be really cool. So, but I was thinking about a couple different things, and it's based on a conversation me and my brother had, and it was, my brother also works in the restaurant industry. Matter of fact, we work for the same company, and we were talking about the minimum wage thing, and the $15 an hour, and I am for paying a living wage, although in my personal opinion, if I were on the outside view, looking in, is I don't think $15 an hour is quite enough. At $15 an hour, if you were living on your own, you're not getting anywhere. You would be surviving, not thriving. Which is an issue. What are some of the reasons for that? That $15 an hour, which is an okay amount, can't do that. Well, in some ways, it can come down to greed. Let's just talk, rentals, for example. Most people rent an apartment, or a house. And with that, I think the prices on apartments and rental homes are absolutely outrageous. Outrageous. And I dare say it just comes down to greed. But if your rent and if you have a child care, food, we've had this discussion, eat up all your check, you don't have money to go out and have a cup of coffee. So to me, if you can't go out to have a cup of coffee, then that's not thriving, that's surviving. And that is my opinion. I think that is one of the biggest problems. I don't think $15 an hour is enough. I think I had heard an article on the radio. It was a report that was much larger, but one snip of it on the radio about a year ago, talking about how the average single person needs about $21 an hour to survive. So even at $15 an hour minimum wage, that's still not enough to thrive in any way, shape, or form. You're not saving money, by any means. I mean, me and Chris at times struggle to save money, and we both make more than $15 an hour, and between rent and children, and we don't even pay for childcare, we struggle to save any kind of amount. I mean, you hear people say that, you should have 6 months to a year of backup money for bills. Yeah, never going to happen. I will probably never be able to save and keep $10,000 to $12,000. That would cover my rent. I mean, if we wanted to pay our rent and utilities for a year, we would almost need a year's worth of salaries saved up. That's not possible. I don't care who you are. Very few people hit that threshold. Now double our incomes, absolutely. But here is the business side problem of $15 an hour. It is this: at $15 an hour, and it took some thought behind this. It would absolutely kill every small business, mom and pop store across the U.S., with very few exceptions. Very few. You have like New York and California, where the cost of living is already high, and your average workers are already making $15 an hour or more, but then you're also paying $5 for a packet of gum. And that's considered a low wage. So, you could go that route and raise the cost of living up everywhere, but that's not going to happen. With most small businesses, if they're truly trying to be, okay, we'll say a medium-sized business. Let's say you own a restaurant chain that's got 100 stores. All right, and in that year, you're a fairly successful restaurant chain, or even a retail chain. And let's say your net income annually after you've paid everything, your bottom line, is $6 million a year. Let's say you are a $50 million a year company gross, and your take home is $6 million a year. Well, most companies, will take that profit, okay, and they will take that and turn it around to grow their business more, whether it be open new stores, research and development, to try new products, new formats, keep their stores updated and modern, purchase equipment or clothing racks or whatever it is that they need to keep their stores looking nice, running smooth, potential pay raises. Well, here's the problem with, let's say you were paying your people $12 an hour before, or even $10 an hour before, but you want to be competitive, or the government says we have to start paying $15 an hour. That's the minimum wage. The problem with that is you just taking that entire $6 million away. So then, we'll just say you've just taken 5 of that $6 million away, which still leaves you $1 million a year, or about an eighth of your initial profit to put into other things. You're down to $1 million. All right, we are now paying equally every hourly manager, every employee, $15 an hour. So you could say, well, that doesn't sound bad. They're making $15 an hour. You still get $1 million put in. Well, here's where the catch-22 starts to come in. So now your hourly managers, because most industries only have one salary manager in the store, or the shop or whatever, and that's the general manager, the head manager. Now, some companies, like my company, has 2 salary managers, in a store. But we have 2 salary managers, assistant general manager and a general manager. Then you have, 2 hourly managers, which are usually a service manager or a, kind of middle of the management pack manager, and a shift manager, which is the starting point for management. And they're both hourly. Well, nobody's going to want to do those 2 positions if they're making just as much as an associate, so you got to pay them more. So now, let's say you have to pay them $18 an hour. Well, you pretty much could have just potentially killed your $1 million. Now you're making no profit, or not enough profit to even make a difference. So how do you grow from that? Well, that's where it gets tricky. Okay, so you can grow from it. It's hard, and it could potentially take a long time. It could potentially kill you. There is a restaurant chain here in the Columbus area who did that. They started paying all their employees $15 an hour. But in order to do that, they had to shut down their education center. So there's no more training and development, of managers. That just cost a bunch of jobs. And they had to shut down a handful of their restaurants, cut down more jobs. So now we've just unemployed a bunch of people so we can pay some people $15 an hour. That is one way to do it. There is another national restaurant chain that claims to pay $15 an hour, which is kind of a lie. What they did was they took their stores in New York and California where they're paying people $19 an hour, and then they averaged, but their $15 an hour is an average because they're not paying $15 an hour everywhere. In lower wage areas, West Virginia, Kentucky, where minimum wage is still $7 and change, they're paying like $8 an hour, $9 an hour. So the average works out to be $15 an hour across their company whole. Now, I'm not naming the names of either of these companies, but that's a thing. They said, yeah, we're paying an average of $15 an hour. Well, they're paying an average of $15 an hour because they got a handful of states where the economics have forced them to pay $19 an hour in order to have any kind of survivability rate, where they're getting away with paying $9 an hour every place else, which balances out to about $15 an hour company wide. So that's kind of dirty pool, and I think deceiving. Now, another thing you can do from a business aspect is, let's say we have decided as a company, as a business, that we are going to pay all our associates $15 an hour. We're going to pay our hourly managers $18, $17, $18 an hour, even $19 an hour. Our salary managers, they get a little bump too, because, if you balance it out, they're pretty much making the same amount as an hourly manager. So we have to give everybody a pay raise in the company. We've eaten up our $6 million hole. So how do you fix that? I've already told you one way, and that was with the company that shut down a handful of stores, shut down their education center, and laid off a bunch of people so they could pay the other people more money. Or you can raise your prices. So what happens if you raise your prices? Well, if you do it kind of the sneaky backdoor way of raising it a little bit at a time, which isn't uncommon. I mean, I remember back in the mid 80s when a Wendy's single hamburger was, 89 cents. Now they're like $2, $3. So what they did was they raised the price slowly over time, a little bit at a time, so it doesn't really affect it. Now, you can't do that and survive as a company if you're going to make that kind of jump from paying your $10, $11 an hour to $15 to $20 an hour. So you're going to have a major price increase. What can that do? Sticker shock right off the bat. No customer is going to pay, at least not very willingly in the beginning, 25 to 30% more than what they were paying the week before. Think about it. We hoot and holler about gas prices when they rise. And that can't always be controlled. Imagine what they're going to do when you have to pay, $5 for a McDonald's hamburger, so to speak. So, you have that option. And in reality, that's probably what's going to happen. Or with some places, especially your like small mom and pop stores, they'll probably just close up shop and go home. And I really struggle with that one. Mostly because that leaves us open to big business. And not that I'm against big business employs millions of people, and they keep prices fairly reasonable on many things. But that means that we've left ourselves open to being, I don't want to say controlled, but in a way controlled by a handful of people that will determine markets and shares, prices and increases, because then you're working for stockholders. You're instead of helping, keep things in house, right? Instead of helping Joe, the guy that owns the corner store down the street, you're helping some guy who, well, it's not even some guy, some group of people, turn a major profit. That I kind of struggle with. That's just greedy. So, like I said, I'm not against paying people more money. I think people need more money. And I think that they should have to work for more money. But that's a topic I think I've already addressed, but it still irks me to this very day how people want, especially younger generations, seem to want the world, but nobody wants to work for it. They expect it to be handed to them. And I'm all for a utopian society, but you have to work for it. In some way, shape, or form, you have to work for it. You have to earn your keep. And I think we're getting away from that too. But as far as business goes, there has to be a way to do it. How, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I guess it would start at, I know like in a retailer's case, well, even in a store's case, if, you could, and you'd have to work this backwards, so to speak. Let's say in my store, in my grocery store, I sell bread. I'm a bread store. I sell nothing but bread. And normally my supplier of bread sells me bread for, let's see, bread goes for about $2 a loaf now. So let's say he sells it to me for 80 cents a loaf. And that means it probably costs him 30 cents a loaf to make. So then if you go back to the people who sell him his products, and they would say, cut the price of their products in half, 50%. Then he could cut his price 50%, cutting your cost 50%, but you still charge $2. Then you make more money. You can pay your people $2 more an hour. It's cutting it from the backside, basically. The problem you have with that is the end result is somebody is going to end up making less money, more than likely a farmer somewhere. Now, what if that farmer has employees that work for him? What's that do for them? It cuts their wage, or doesn't cut their wage, but gives him fewer workers to play with. So that's what I'm talking. The balance is so fine that I'm not sure how this is going to work out. Jumping that quickly without there being a consequence somewhere. Coming in from the backside, like I just explained, there would be a smaller consequence, maybe fewer people, get hurt, so to speak. But I know taking it the other direction, I think more people would get hurt. So I don't know how to fix it. It's just something I've pondered on, and I would really like and value to hear your opinion. Because I know I would love to be able to pay my employees $15 an hour. I would love to be able to pay my hourly managers, $18 an hour. That would be awesome. The benefits would be amazing. Unfortunately, with being part of a small to medium-sized business, that's just not possible. It's just not. Not without affecting something, whether it be somebody else losing their job to do it, raising the cost of our product to get to the point where nobody can really afford our product anymore. Doesn't matter how good it is, if you can't afford it, chances are you're not going to be able to get it. And I know the restaurant industry, much like most retail, rely on the masses to come in and shop. So this one I'm struggling with. I mean, does it need to change? Absolutely. How do we change it, though, that it benefits everybody? I'm not sure. And I'm still waiting to hear an answer from everybody that wants to make, the minimum wage increase up to 15 all the way across the board. Now, before it was just for federal employees, but now they're trying to push $15 an hour. We as a country, and mostly people who either don't own a business or make way too much money are trying to push for $15 an hour. Now, mega companies, Amazon, Walmart, things like that, they already pay $15 an hour, or at least Skippy close to it or more. So that's neither here nor there. Unfortunately, a majority of Americans don't work for those two companies, so it makes it rough. All right, well, I'm going to get off my soapbox on that one. I would really like to hear your opinion, whether it be on Facebook or here, or at least your thoughts on it. Have a conversation on it. Maybe you have an idea, because I'm still stuck with one. It's something I've been thinking about for a few days now. Excuse me. Yeah, I think that's the one we're going to run with. That's a good thing to talk about. I think that's a good topic. How do we fix it? Are you against it? Are you for it? Do you think I'm nuts for liking the idea of paying people more? I just know that, it needs to happen, but how do we make it happen so it benefits everybody? It has to benefit everybody. It's equality at its finest. I mean, I know there's always going to be people that are super rich, and I know there's always going to be a handful of impoverished. I get that. But if the majority can be comfortable and thriving is the key. You learn that in fish. Fish, you can have fish, you can have them for years and they'll survive, But are they thriving? Are they fat? Are they happy? Are they full of color? Are they, are they mating? Are they reproducing eggs and fertilizing and making new fish? That's how you know they're thriving, and you're successful in that aspect. That's things we have to think about here. Is $15 an hour enough? Does it need to be more? Do we need to pay our people more? Can we afford to pay our people more without there being so many circumstances that it affects the business? We don't want to drive out the small business, the medium business, and the even smaller mom and pop. He gets up every morning to go run his store, his convenience store. People, we don't want to close. We don't want to shut them out. That's a bad gig. It can lead to bad things. All right, so tomorrow, I'm not going to cook a main dish tomorrow. Well, I'm going to cook a main dish tomorrow, but it's going to be an easy one. We're basically going to do. We're going to make kind of a fried taco. I'm going to take some taco meat and some cheese and wrap it up in little corn tortillas and fry them. But we're going to focus and learn how to make Mexican rice. I have a recipe I've made a few times now, and sometimes I'm very successful with it, sometimes not so much. So it's one of those dishes that I need to learn. It does take, or still need to practice with. It does take a minute to make. It's a whole lot of hurry up and wait. So you're not spending forever cooking and slaving over a stove, but it does take a few minutes. But we'll talk about that more tomorrow. And then on Thursday, like I said last week, I don't know if we're necessarily going to bake anything, only because we did just eat a giant 4-layer made from scratch chocolate and white cake castle. We are going to run through how to make, because I got to restock the spice cabinet. So I'm going to show you guys how to make some pumpkin spice, some taco seasoning, some fajita seasoning, some ranch powder that you can make into ranch dressing. And I know there's a couple other spices that I wanted to, spice combinations I wanted to show you also. But we'll do that more on Thursday. It'll be fun, I promise. And when you start making your own spice combinations, you'll never look back, because you can truly make it your own. Especially when it comes to like taco seasoning, you can add and take away. More chili powder, less chili powder. More paprika, less paprika. There's just an endless amount of possibilities when it comes to making your own spice seasonings. And I know the pumpkin spice, that the recipe I have for it that we use, is out of this world. So anyhow, let's think about how we're going to get this $15 an hour or more thing rolling and do it successfully, so we all benefit from it, small business to small business employee. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, even if it's just to tell me I'm an idiot. And then I will see you tomorrow so we can do up some Mexican rice and some fried taco rolls. And yeah, all right. I love you. Tell somebody else you love them. It'll make their day a whole lot better. And I will see you tomorrow for some Mexican rice. All right. Be good. Be safe. Take care. Bye.